Hi everyone, this is Mrs. McNulty, and then in this Introduction to Google Drawings video, we're going to take a look at some of the basic features of this web-based diagramming app from Google. So the first thing we need to do to get to Google Drawings is to go to your Drive, click on New, More, and then you'll find Google Drawings. When it opens, it gives you a document that is 10 inches wide by 7.5 inches high, generally. If you would like to change that dimension, the way you do it is go to File, and then scroll down to Page Setup, and go to Custom, because you can make it any size you want. So usually I like to make the width 11 inches and the height 8.5 inches, because that's the size of a standard piece of paper. Okay, and then hit OK. You can make the dimensions anything you want, though, for whatever project you're doing. Okay, now, next thing we're going to do is title our drawing, and I'm just going to call this one Practice. And then always put your name in the title. Just makes it easier. And then you're going to store it in your Drive, and generally I'm going to have you store it in your Art folder. So I'm going to store mine in a folder that I have for Google Drawings. But say you would be looking for your Art folder, and then if you need to make a new folder for the project, you would hit New Folder, name it. I'm just going to say Practice, and then say, after you created that folder, move here. So you're moving that document to that new folder you just created in your Google Drive in your Art folder. All right, so now we're named, we've placed it where we want it to do, we've sized it what we want it to be. The menu, drop-down menus across the top are really like the ones that you're probably familiar with from working with maybe Microsoft Word or Google Docs. A lot of the same features are in this Google Drawings. The second row are the important tools that we'll use. This back arrow undoes if a certain action that you've done. So that's really handy. A redo, if you decide I want to actually go back and save that action, you can hit redo, of course print. This is the zoom arrow, so you can zoom in, zoom out. This is a very important tool, the selection tool. So the way that most of these programs work, when you have shapes or lines or images or text boxes, is that you need to select something to affect it. So you need to choose it or let the program know this is what I want to work with, and you do that by clicking on it after you've clicked on the selection tool. The line tool has a lot of different options. You can draw straight lines, curved lines, hand-drawn lines, straight lines, and make your own kind of shape. All right, the curve tool. The next one is the actual shape tool, and you have a lot of options in this drop-down menu as well. A text box is very similar to probably what you've used before in other either document type of programs or designing kind of programs. And then insert images, and you can insert images from a number of different locations. Okay, so let's jump in and draw a few things. First, I want to tell you that this program, like other programs that we will use, is based on the idea of layers. So when you draw something or add something, it's on its own layer. When you draw or add something else, it's on a new layer, and it comes in and it's on the top of the stack. So the most recent thing you've created is on the top of the stack of layers. You can rearrange those layers, and I'll show you how to do that. It would be with this arrange menu here. Okay, so let's say we want to add a shape. So we hit the shape tool, shapes. We'll just start with a square. a neat thing about like when you're drawing these shapes, if you want it to be a perfect square or say a perfect circle, you can also hold down the shift key while you're drawing the shape and it will stay proportionate, in a perfect, with perfect proportions. So the way that you would draw the shape is click on the left side of your trackpad or left click on your mouse. Okay, you can hold the shift key down if you want it to be proportional or perfectly proportional, like this. I'm moving this, but it's staying a perfect square. Okay, when I let go of all the keys, it's saying with this blue box, it's saying it is still selected, so I can still make changes to this shape that I've just drawn. If I want to change the fill color, I click on that. If I don't want any fill color, I can say transparent. All right, and then you can see these gray and white boxes are saying that the shape is transparent. That's the standard sign for transparency. But if I did want to fill it in with a color, I can click on that color. Or if I wanted to pick more of a custom color, what I could do is use this slider bar down here to get in the family of the color that I might want to use, and then use this square up here to get the exact. I'll click on a certain color and say that's the color that I want to use. If I want to change the transparency, how see-through something is, you could use that slider there. Okay, so I've chosen that green color. Now, it also gives you an outline, a border color. So I could come in and pick maybe a purple. I could also pick how thick I want that border to be. So it defaults to 1 pixel, but if you wanted a thicker border, you could pick a different number. Or you wanted a different line around the shape, you could click a different dash for the border instead of just a straight line, okay, or a solid line. All right, you can click outside that shape to like deselect it, so that's the shape that we have. All right, now let's try another one. Let's draw a circle this time. And again, if I want it to be a perfect circle, I can hold the shift key down while I'm dragging the shape out. Okay, just defaults to this light blue color, but I can go in and change it. Go to maybe this deep blue. I can do that. If I want to change the color around the outside, I can do that. Okay. To move this object, you want to have those blue or the black arrow crosshairs. You click and drag. That will help your shape move. So you can see that the second shape I have drawn is on top of the first shape we drew because it is on the layer that's on the top. All right. If I wanted this shape to be underneath the green shape, I would select it, which it is already selected, go up to Arrange, Order, and say Send Backward. Okay. Now in this case I only have the 2 shapes, but the difference between send or bring to front or bring forward is bring to front brings it all the way to the top. Bring forward would bring it forward just 1 layer. Same with send backward and send to back. So if you had 6 layers, it would only take it up or down 1 layer with these 2 and then bring it all the way to the front or all the way to the back with those commands. All right, so now I have these. Let's draw one more shape. Maybe this cloud looking shape. All right. And I'm going to say I want to, this time, bring it down to like an orangey color. That color. Okay. If I wanted to, I can go in and maybe make it a little more see-through. I could do that with that transparency slider. You can see through those shapes. If I wanted to make it a gradient, I could also do that. So I'm going to make it blue. A custom gradient. This is the depth of the gradient, and I could click on this and change it. Maybe you wanted to have a little bit more of a range there. This is a little more advanced, but it's fun. Okay, so I have that gradient going from that lighter blue to the darker blue. All right, now if I have all three of these shapes and I wanted to group them so that they stay in the same place in relation to each other, what I can do is swipe over them, select them all, and say arrange and group. Okay, so now when I go to move them, they move all together. Okay, I don't have to move them separately. I can also resize them. Okay, make them all smaller together or all stretched out together. Okay, so that's a good thing to know. The text box, let's talk about that one a little bit. If I want to add some text, I would come down and draw a text box, and then I can come here and pick which style font I would like. There are, a lot of options here, but if you want to see even more, you can click on more fonts, and if there's something that's not already added to your list, you could select it, and it will be added to your list. Okay, so there is that font. I'm going to make it a little bit larger, and then type out practice. Okay. I could also select this with my move that around. Okay, I can also change it to bold. I can also change the color of this text. Okay. All right, let's talk a little bit about the line tool. Actually, I'm going to change that. Let's bring that size back down a little bit first. Okay. The line tool has a lot of options. A straight line is just like that. Now you can grab these corners and move your line around, make it shorter, make it longer. You can again change the width, the color. Okay. This one I just want to show you in particular is a click. Every time I'm clicking, it's starting a new segment of the line. If I come back to where I was and close that shape, it fills it in with the, that default color, but I can change the color of that shape. Again, change the border color if I want. Okay. If I want to move it up, I can do that. Okay. If I want the type or that to be behind the type, I can say arrange, order, send backwards, arrange, order, and maybe send all the way to the back, and then my type is now in front of the shape. Last thing I'm going to show you is about inserting an image. Let's go to the web, or go to my drive. I'll pick this image that's in my drive and insert it. Okay, and again, we can move it anywhere we want. We can enlarge it. Okay, and we can also do a few things with it, like recolor the picture. Okay, if you want to have it change to any one of these, you want to change it to black and white. You can also make adjustments. The contrast, the brightness, the transparency. Okay. Play around with the drop shadow if you wanted to drop shadow on your photo. That's probably more than something we would use with the type. If you don't like it, you can reset it. Yeah, so those are just some basic overviews. There's a lot of fun things that you can do in there. But those are the basics, so I hope that you enjoy using Google Drawings. Talk to you soon.